Eva de Vella, one of the custodians, owners of Practical Magica. We've been the owners for 2 years now. So, a friend of mine, Kim, owned this store in Bellflower, California. But I fell in love with the name. You know, the movie Practical Magica. It was like when I saw that movie, I connected to it. I was like, oh my God, like these are my ancestors. So I just loved the movie and I loved the name. And at the time, she taught how to make soaps and bath products and stuff like that. So I took a couple of classes from her, and I bought some products from her at the time. And this was probably like 10 years ago. So I would go in there often, and then one day I drove by and they were closed. So I thought she shut down, you know. And then I was selling at the Cypress swap meet. I was selling my tapestries and my crystals and doing all my healings at the swap meet when this young girl, she was probably like 12, she said, hey, have you ever heard of Practical Magica? I'm like, yeah, she closed the store. And she said, no, she opened back up in Long Beach. I'm like, what? So on Monday, I drive over here, right? And sure enough, Kim was here. So long story short, I started doing Reiki here. I brought Professor Sashi, our magical guru here, and I said, hey, I'm getting this energy that I'm supposed to buy this place to clean the energy and just make it different. And he says to me, oh yeah, you're going to be the custodian. And at the time, I'm Mexican, so I said, custodian, that's like a janitor. Like, no, I don't want to be the janitor. I want to be the owner. So 3 months later, I'm doing Reiki here, and nothing was moving. And I said, well, maybe God and the universe have given me the wrong timing. And I was okay with it, because I knew it was going to be a lot of work. I told Kim, I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and just call it a day. I do Reiki at home. And so she said, oh, well, I was thinking of retiring the store. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe you want to retire it to me. So that's how, I became one of the owners of the store. And at the time, it was another partner and I, and then she took off and did her own thing. But it's been 2 years. The first mission was to buy it. The second mission was to clean it, and that was a lot of work. The walls were like blood red, and now they're white. Just to make it a very welcoming space, healing space for the community. So we have two. We have the store, and then we have the sacred space in the back where we do meditations with Professor Sashi, and we teach classes. We do a psychic fair. So then the next mission was to build it, right? So I, got all the tools for all the different modalities, and then the third was that this is a church. This back area is a spiritual place, a sacred space for anybody and everybody that needs healing. My dad is from New Mexico, and my mom is from Michoacan, from Mexico. And I was born in Mexico. I was 4 when they brought us here. And so I only spoke Spanish, and and literally my mom never wanted to learn English because she wanted us to be bilingual. So I was always the attorney and the translator. I mean, I was like 4. They were taking me everywhere to translate for everything, And so that's why I always thought I was going to become an attorney, because I was always translating and fighting for them. But yeah, and then I became a teacher. I have a teaching degree, and I teach English as a second language. I would have never thought that I would. I always knew I wanted to be a missionary. I always knew in my heart that when I was done with my kids, having children, whatever, I was going to become a missionary. And but I always thought it was going to be like outside of the U.S., not in the U.S. And my sister now will ask me, so when are you going to go to Africa or here to become a missionary? I'm like, I'm a missionary now. I'm on a mission. I get missions from God in spirit. And I'm a good student. I listen to my missions, and I do. I grew up Catholic, and, as children, we're observers of our parents, right, or people around us. And my dad was very, very spiritual. And so was my mom. But for me, it was not as fulfilling. Like, we would go there, and I was always a very inquisitive child. Needless to say, I was not an easy child. But I always had questions. And, if you didn't give me the answer, I mean, I wouldn't push you for the answer, but I was feel like, well, no, that doesn't sit right with me. So I had a lot of questions growing up, but because I came from a very, very strong family, we didn't question it. We just do it. So I tell people, for a lot of Catholics, Catholicism is a tradition. It's like making tamales. You know, why? Why do you do it this way? Why do you so? And if parents or adults don't have the answer, they'll just tell you that's because that's how we do it. And that's like a very horrible way to get out of things, right? If you don't have the answer, look it up, research. Don't take just that's because that's the way it is as an answer. I even taught Catholicism for 25 years. And I saw how it's such spirituality is such an intimate thing that it was really sad to see these children being forced to take these classes against their will and against just because the parents thought that, well, this is the way, we're Catholics and this is how we do it. But the parents themselves wouldn't go to mass. They wouldn't do these things, or they would go and treat people like trash. And so that to me was like, there's something really, really missing here. And again, being the inquisitive me, it only took me like 30 years to figure this out. I always wanted to like, why do you burn these candles? Like, where's the magic? Why? What are the oils? What do these oils do? Why do you burn incense? Like, I wanted to know. And I was not getting those answers. But I will always be a Catholic, right? I was baptized as a Catholic, but I don't believe in religion. I think religion is probably the worst thing that happened to humans because it's man made. That's my personal belief. It's man made. We are spirit, right? Our spirit is going to live on. We're here now. We're going to continue on. And a spirit cannot be contained, right? So I believe in ascended masters. I have Ganesha, I have Hanuman, I believe in Angel Metatron, I believe in my Virgin. So I believe in energy as a whole, and I believe in spirituality. But yeah, I grew up as Catholic, and at the time, it served me, but it allowed me to question and allowed me to grow and to become what I am now. To me, even through the Catholic Church, I had a lot of miracles, a lot of them, like finding papers that I needed that were like life changing, and them showing up like 2 years later after like praying, 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 and it shows up in a trash can. I mean, miracles like that. And then I've always been like a very, very lucky. People say, "Oh, tiene gracia," or she's so lucky. And I just think that it's your spirit. You come in with karma, good karma, bad karma, whatever it is. But I never saw, ever since I was very, very little, I never saw people for what they show up here. I always saw their spirit or their light. And I love that. I never judge people. I would love people no matter what size, color, flavor, whatever. So to me, we chose all of this before we even came here. So I am a firm believer that my entire journey was already set up for me to take it. But yeah, the miracles, and then, the things when you break, right? And you're at the bottom of the barrel and you climb up, like I paid attention to what things resonated with me, what healed me. And then after I healed, it was like, I needed to go through that, you know, the the dark night of the soul, so that I can become light and become a healer or a teacher. Because you can read stories and people can tell you, but unless you go through it, unless you go through the fire, you cannot talk about what the fire felt like. So I feel that all of that had to happen in my life to like shake me and wake me up. And I think that um, most of us that are in this work um, go through something like this. So I'm a Reiki master, and I'm a Feng Shui master, a crystal master, and then also quantum healing hypnosis technique. And that's my newest one, and I think that's the most magical one. And I believe that when the student is ready, the teacher will come. To me, it's like proof is in the pudding, right? So I think that by people seeing what they feel when they come in here, and by having the tools that people need, sometimes people need it'll be a sound bath or it will be a crystal. And I don't force things on anybody. I think that when they come, sometimes they just need to chat. They just need to talk to you. I remember once that I was here at the store and I had forgotten to open the store, right? And we opened at 11. It was like 11:15 and somebody calls and I answer and they're like, "Are you open?" I'm like, "Yes." And this person says, "Oh, I'm outside." I'm like, "Oh, let me let you in." So this person comes in and she was very broken, and I could see it. And I spent, 45 minutes and just making sure that she was okay. And then the next day she started coming to our meditation classes and has not missed one. She comes all the time and her light has just expanded. So to me, that's proof in the pudding, right? She didn't buy anything that day, and I didn't need her to buy anything that day. But the fact that I was here that day, it was a Friday, it was meant for her to meet with me. And then also at the swap meet, I meet a lot of people that think that all of this spirituality thing is of the devil, especially the Hispanic cultures. Can't show them a crystal or a necklace because it's like, oh, voodoo or da da da. And I'm like, I am of God. Yeah, I'm love and light. Unfortunately, the times that we're living right now, a lot of the younger um, or people, they love to connect to the witchy stuff because they think it's, oh, I have power, I have this, I have that. And what they don't realize is that if they truly know and believe in energy, you cannot force anything, right? Because when you force, that force will come back and want the payment for whatever it did for you. And if you're dabbing into negative or dark entities, you're in that world. So you're putting yourself open to connect to that. So the work that I do is only love and light, and I do not force anything. I do not bring anyone back to your life. That's not, you know, everything is. I help you. I help you with making, helping, give you tools to make you make better choices and protect your energy and connect to the right energy. Everything for your highest good. So that's been interesting that a lot more people are connecting to that, to the witchy stuff, and I don't connect to that at all. If you keep your container clean and you keep your container connected to source, all of those things won't even. It's like water and oil. They won't attract you, or if they come, they won't attach themselves to you. But you I tell people you have to work on this every day. You get up and you make a choice of the things that you're going to work on and how your day's going to flow, and you keep working on you every single day. Some customers will come in here and they'll say, I'm really looking for a job and I applied, and so what do you recommend? And I love candle magic and I love crystals because crystals hold their vibration, right? And then we're the magic. I always tell people, you're the magic. So you can take the crystals and the oil and the candle, you anoint it, and then you manifest. But if you're, in the negative, not being thankful or not being grateful or doubting, oh, I'm not going to get, well, you're not going to get the job. But when you bring these items into your space and you place the intention and you live in gratitude, the universe wants the best for you all the time. You're attracting what you're putting out. That's why I say, when if you're looking for a job, but you sit there and worry and you say, oh, they're not going to call me back. They're not. Well, they're not going to call you back. You're putting that out there to the universe, right? So, and I tell people, you know what? The tornado could be out there, but you don't see it. You're like, oh my God, what a beautiful sunshiny day. And don't connect to that, right? And if you don't connect, you're going to attract and manifest what you're connecting to.